Hey, this is SJ. I still got my cold. It's cold. If I'm sounding hoarse, I still got a cold. I've been having this cold for almost over. It's like the sixth day, I believe, that I've had this cold, or the fifth day. The fifth day that I've had this cold. So that's why I'm sounding hoarse right now. But anyway, bear with me. Bear with me. But I had to get on here and talk about um, Donald Trump's cuts. Propose. I'm going to say propose because Congress has to pass it and all that in order for all that to go through. Um, it said that he's cutting trying to cut Medicare, but I'll get back to that in a minute. He's going to be cutting Section 8. Now I googled it and looked up the article, and it said that they were gonna. He's proposing that he's going to cut it. He's going to limit it to able-bodied individuals. 2 years. He's giving able-bodied individuals 2 years, a 2 year limit. That's what he wants to do, and the disabled people and elderly people won't be affected. Yeah, because how can you take their housing away? That would be just totally evil. According to the article I read, it said it wouldn't affect the disabled and it wouldn't affect the elderly, but able-bodied people are going to be affected. So I guess if you're able-bodied and you're able to work, it's gonna be a 2 year limit. Um, I've thought about that, marinated on that, meditated on that, and I was like, okay, is that fair to give people a 2 year limit? I used to be on Section 8, and I was on it for 4 years. I was on it for 4 years. Um, and I told that story on here because I did a video a few years back talking about the Medicaid cut, Section 8 cuts, and it was like three different things I put in the title on that video. I got over 20,000 hits on that video. I I got over 20. I wouldn't even monetize at the time, but I got over 20,000. I think that's one of my highest grossing videos. That's one of my highest grossing videos. I got over 20,000 hits on that thing, and people was coming in talking about you accusing me of being on Section 8, so I had to do a clarification video to clarify that I wasn't on Section 8. I used to be. I've told that story a few times on here, but to make a long story short, because I'm not trying to make this video too long. To make a long story short, I was on it for 4 years, and because of my family size, I couldn't get what I wanted. And so I wanted to get into a townhouse. And so at the time I was able to afford, and at the time my apartment complex had their own subsidy. So I gave up my Section 8. I gave it back to them and got on the apartment complex subsidy at the time. So to sum it up, to make a long story short, so I was on it for 4 years, and I gave it back. And so I'm just thinking, if 2 years is long enough, I don't think it's long enough. I was thinking, meditating on it and marinating on it. I said, is 2 years long enough? No, 2 years is not long enough, in my opinion. It's not. Because the reason why I say that is because we're dealing with a housing crisis in this country right now. We're dealing with a housing crisis. Affordable housing crisis. We're dealing with a major affordable housing crisis right now in this country. Okay? They say people are even having a hard time buying homes right now. People are having a very difficult time buying homes. That's supposed to be the American dream, to own a home. People are finding themselves not being able to access the American dream. They can't purchase a home. because Donald Trump is sitting up here making all these cuts, but he ain't said nothing about increasing minimum wage. You notice he hasn't said anything about increasing minimum wage. Have it me up comment section. Have you guys heard anything about him increasing the minimum wage? He hasn't said anything about increasing. He hasn't said anything about increasing the wages, but he wants to sit up here and make all these cuts. 2 years is not long enough. I agree. I do agree that able-bodied people, you should try to do whatever you can to, it should be just Section 8 should be just a stepping stone, and just to tie you over until you can do better. Because that's exactly what I did. I used it for the 4 years, but when I was able in a position to do better, I got off of it. Because at the time it was just me and my older son, and you could only get up to so much money. And I was in a 2-bedroom apartment. I wanted to upgrade to the townhomes. I wanted something better. So I was like, okay, well, y'all can keep this Section 8, give it to somebody else that needs it. So yeah, I do believe that if people can do better, if you're able-bodied, you should stay on it but try to do better. Try to do better. Try to work harder, get you a home, a house, or whatever like that. So I do agree with that part of it. But at the same time, we are in an affordable housing crisis right now. We are in an affordable housing crisis, and 2 years is just not long enough right now. It's not. You're not giving people enough time. Maybe give them 5 years. Give them time to, yeah. That sounds more reasonable. But 2 years is not enough time. 2 years is not enough time. Maybe 3 years. I don't know. But 2 years is not enough time. Not when we have an affordable housing crisis in this country. And then, so what are you going to do with the people that's already on it, that's been on it for over 2 years? You're just going to kick them off? You're not going to tell them, well, you got 2 more years and to get yourself together, and then after 2 years, you're not going to give these people time to secure, to get it together. The people that's already on it, that's been on it for over 2 years, are they going to just kick them off? That's not cool. That's not okay. Because guess what? It's going to be. We already have a homelessness. We already have extremely high homeless rates in this country. It's going to be even higher. When you do that, it's going to be more people that's going to be homeless. So Donald Trump be doing this stuff, and he don't think about. Don't he have advisors? Don't Donald Trump have advisors? That man is so narcissist, he probably don't even pay no attention to him. He is so narcissist. If they're trying to tell him something, he probably ignores them. He probably does. They probably do be trying to tell him stuff, and he don't listen. Because he's a narcissist. Donald Trump is a narcissist. So if he's a narcissist, he's not even listening to his advisors. He ain't paying them no attention. He just feel like he can just do whatever he wants. But Congress has to pass that. It has to go through Congress. They said a judge is trying to stop him from it's something that he's trying to do, and the federal judge had to intervene once again to stop him from doing something. So he thinks he has more power than what he really has. But no, 2 years. Hit me up in the comment section. Do you think 2 years is long enough for able-bodied people to be on Section 8? Do you think 2 years is long enough? I don't think 2 years is long enough. I was on it for 4 years myself. And at that time, there was no housing we didn't have a affordable housing crisis in this country at the time. I think that was back in let me think now. Let me think. Give me a minute. Oh, let's see. What year was that? Ooh, give me a minute. It was in the 90s. It was in the mid 90s. I know that much. No, late 90s. No, it was in the late 90s. It was just before it was just before I moved into that townhouse just before I got pregnant with my youngest son. 99. It was 99. It was 1999. Yep. It was 1999. I had to think for a minute. Um yeah, it was 1999. Now at that time, we wasn't dealing with an affordable housing crisis in this country at the time. I don't believe we were. So, and I was on it for 4 years. And this was in the 90s. So, um yeah, that's I was on it for 4 years myself. At a time when there was no affordable housing crisis in this country at the time. Because I think for my one bedroom, I was on Section 8. And I remember when I first moved in the apartment, I was paying only $50 a month. Because I wasn't working when I first moved into the two bedroom. And I was only paying $50 a month when I first moved in there. And then when I went to work, it was adjusted according to my income and stuff. And so that was in 95 when I lived in the apartment. And it was 99 when I moved into the townhome. And I think I got on their subsidy. I dropped the Section 8 and got on their subsidy. And I was paying like 465, I want to say 465 a month for the two-bedroom townhouse. So that's cheap. That's cheap compared to what I would be paying for it now if that same townhouse, you put that same townhouse in this year. Yeah, I'd be paying a whole lot more for it. So that's cheap. We didn't have affordable housing crisis in this country at the time. So, well, Michigan has some of the cheapest housing costs in the country anyway. But even Michigan housing costs is going up. Even Michigan housing is skyrocketing. So hit me up in the comment section though. Let me know, do you think 2 years is enough? 2 years is not enough. Real quick about the Medicare cuts. He wrong for that. First of all, people pay into Medicare. I don't know about you guys, but when I was working, Medicare, I always seen that Medicare on my check stuff. They take out money for Medicare. Every check stub I got, there was Social Security and there was Medicare. They take Medicare out of your check. Now, how in the world are you going to cut something that people pay into, and people pay Medicare premiums? Okay, now how in the world are you going to cut something that people pay into? People are paying into Medicare. And mostly people that get Medicare is disabled people and the elderly. Disabled people and the elderly get Medicare. And you want to cut it? And Medicare already limited. They already got a lot of stuff that's limited on Medicare. And you want to cut it some more? No, Congress better not let that pass. They better not let that pass. He wrong for that. Why don't you tax the rich? Stop letting rich people and these major corporations like Walmart do all these tax write-offs. Why don't you make cuts there instead of always aiming for the poor people? What about corporate welfare? Why don't you make okay? Why don't you cut down your golfing budget, Donald Trump? Yes, cut down your golfing budget. How much money does it cost for your golfing budget? Why don't you cut that down? Corporate welfare. Why don't you cut down some of those people in Congress that's making beaucoup of money just to sit on there, you know what? Why don't you cut that instead of always going after the poor people and the elderly? And then you got the nerve to say you want women to have babies? What kind of incentive are you cutting housing? What kind of incentive is that for women to have babies? I've already talked about that. But yeah, this man is, his mind ain't right. But hit me up in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about the Section 8 cuts and the Medicare cuts. I don't know about Medicaid. I'm not sure about Medicare, but those are the two ones. Hit me up. Let me know what your thoughts are. And to the next video, you guys be blessed.